Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Sunbury Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It's December 22nd, 2025, 6:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John,
Here.
Mrs. Miller. Here. Mr. Grumney,
Here.
Mrs. Crawford. Here. Mr. Soderman.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
6 present, we have quorum.
All right, great, thank you. The first item on the agenda is a rezoning plan district Bluestone STP parcel 417-412-01-01-7003. The applicant is requesting a rezoning of the parcel listed from agricultural A1 to planned commercial district PCD and the approval of the associated plan development plan. There was an exhibit that was provided by the applicant, and it is my understanding that the applicant is requesting that this be tabled at this point. If we were not to table it, we would be required to take action tonight based on the 60-day.
Yeah, the 60-day window would be before the January meeting, so action would need to be taken if there's no table.
Thank you. Is there anything that we need to review from the applicant's comments with the commission, or do we just state that these are part of the packet and the materials and everybody can read them?
Those are the last notes I got from the applicant were those ones, so I don't have any further update outside of what they updated in that email. So if you have any questions, I can answer them, but it's going to be.
Yeah, I would say, except to say that there have been communications with the applicant since the last planning and zoning commission meeting, where staff has gone through the issues that were raised during that meeting, and we know that they are actively trying to address them. So it's not as if they're sort of sitting idly by. They are actively trying to get back and answer some of those questions. So,
all right, great. So, to summarize everything, there's only 4 bullet points, but the gist of it is they are preparing to come back in January, and they're working to address the public and commission comments. Is that fair? Okay. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to table. Second by Mrs. Crawford. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mrs. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
6 yeas, motion approved.
Next item on the agenda is major commercial site plan, United Dairy Farmers, 303 West Granville Street. The applicant is seeking approval of a commercial site plan at 303 West Granville Street. The proposed redevelopment includes a new gas station utilizing UDF's current building design, which will replace the existing development and create a more functional site. Okay. With that said, the applicant was in a couple of months ago. Would you like to come back up and explain what work you've done so far and what we are looking at?
Yeah, I'm John Lucas with K4 Architecture, and UDF is working on redoing the site. We provide you guys with renderings. We're doing this in multiple locations for them throughout the state and where they're located. They have some additional offerings that they're doing, so they're offering additional food, and there's issues with the dispensers, people getting in and out at this location. So we're going to redo all dispensers to make circulation better for people coming into the site due to the slide through dispenser that's there today. People not be able to use it and get in and out of the site. I know we had discussion in our previous meeting about the access. We have that shown as right in, right out onto Granville now. As we discussed, to allow for the truck turns. We also provide the truck turns. You should have those as well. We'll provide those to Alex. And I know one of the other points of discussion was the location of the dumpster enclosure, and we provided pictures of what we typically use on what we will use on the dumpster enclosure, along with the landscaping around it. I mean, there'll be very little of it visible. The one picture I know of is one of the projects we previously did a couple years ago in Day Heights, which is around Milford, Ohio. don't know if anybody has any questions on anything we provided. Okay.
We may have questions, but maybe we can go to the staff report and then we'll come back and open it up to discussion. Thank you very much. All right, Alex?
Yes, thank you, Greg. So in my staff report, I addressed there are a couple setback requirements that wouldn't be hit in this site plan. Based on the planned district, the planned industrial district on Commerce Park itself, neither of these are inconsistent with what already exists there. Specifically, the EMS station is closer to the right of way than this proposed building is, and then none of the current parcels or developments on them have this 8 inches of firmly packed crushed stone that we require in side yards as well. So this side yard setbacks, while neither of them are consistent with zoning, they are consistent with the planned district that they are in. All of the building materials are architectural grade or natural materials. They do use the it's called a Luma board in some of this. While that isn't considered a natural material, it is considered a high quality architectural material. So I think it fits within our code that way. The site does comply with all the screening requirements we have. The dumpster will be screened by a 6-foot wall and then have shrubbery and arborvitaes around it. So even the wall itself will be screened from State Route 3. Parking calculations, they are under the requirement. The plan shows 30 spaces. Based on my calculations, there needs 36 and then plus the number of employees, depending on what they actually need and how many employees they have, that number can change, but they are slightly under there. Sunbury Comprehensive Plan does not go over this area in detail. It just references it as kind of the whole site in general and doesn't provide any recommendations. So without it providing any recommendations for change, I think this is consistent, as it's the same use that was there prior when this comprehensive plan was made. And then in terms of the driveways coming in and out of the site, they propose a right in, right out close to the intersection of Granville and State Route 3. With that, there is, as far as our zoning code says, it's up to the city engineer to ensure that's a suitable distance from the public streets and other driveways. So I think up to the engineer, as long as that is all right with the city engineer, I think that would be able to be approved contingent upon final engineering. And Carl would be able to take a look at that closer once we get to that stage. And with all that, staff would recommend final approval contingent on final engineering, legal, and stormwater.
Questions for staff?
I have a couple questions. Since both of these agenda items have a parking quantity issue, I kind of reviewed the parking requirement and I noticed in your calculation you used the 30. And then I guess I wanted to get a clarification of the way the code is written. You're using it as an additive approach that if it meets 2 criteria, you're doing the 30 and then the 6 additional. Okay, not just, it's not one or the other.
Yeah, as far as gas stations go, that's how I've typically done it, because more and more, I think current gas stations are more of a convenience store and then additionally a gas station. So I feel like they benefit both. Some people go and don't use gas pumps, but some people go just for the convenience store itself or just for gas. So I think we have to kind of add them together to make sure that works. In the situation where it would just be pumps, I think it's 1 space per 2 pumps. So it would only be a handful of spaces at most. And I don't know if that would be adequate for the site size and the size of the convenience store itself.
I know we've talked at least one time in the past about a recent build that seems to have an excessive amount of parking. And I drove by tonight, I think I counted 22, but it looks from the drawing that there's 23 at the current site. And we're requesting that they increase that either to 30 or to 36 for additional parking. It seems excessive. I looked at some of the spots over there and I'm like, the ones along the front look like they've never been touched. Is it really necessary for us to have all of this parking, or can we make a more common sense approach to, you know, when are they ever going to need 30 different cars in this lot? It seems like the parking requirement is a little bit, I hate to use the word outdated because it's not that old, but it does seem like we're asking them to put in pavement rather than something other than pavement, which is what I would probably lean towards. You know, green space, you know, additional trees and things like that. Is there a provision where we can reduce the number of spaces from the requirement of the code from back to the 23 or the 24?
I think that is something that the commission has talked about thoroughly with each of these that come through. And I think you guys have been pretty good about it, targeting that exact thing. Like, is this the amount of spaces you guys need? If so, then that's adequate. We're currently working on the zoning code, and it's one of the items that we're going to touch in that, specifically this section, and specifically based on the comments from the commission. So in our next go around with the zoning code, it will be addressed. And then I think as of now, as long as you guys find it either an adequate amount of spaces, or if you think they should be required less, I think you guys would be able to do that. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know the right method to calculate it other than visual,
Right.
driving by, busiest time of the day, what do they need?
Right.
But I do think it's appropriate for us to, ask what they want, what they think is appropriate for, do you want 30? Do you want 36? Or is the 22 or 20, what did I just say, 23 that you have right now feel like a more correct number? And what does it do to your plan if we request that you actually reduce it? You guys have a formal opinion on, or do you care one way or the other?
Hi, I'm Tim Kling, Director of Real Estate for United Dairy Farmers. Really, our opinion is to go north of the 33 that we're talking about. It would be 40 plus if we can fit it on a site. Of course, our sites are larger in most cases. We're fitting this on the existing site. The reason being is not only do we have the ice cream and the parlor and the patio space now, the exterior patio space, so people are going to linger longer, but as well, our product offering with the food, increased food service is going to have people lingering, longer than they otherwise would. So we need the available spaces for the convenience store side, plus that other space for those that, come in and sit and eat.
Use it more like a restaurant.
It's somewhat like a restaurant, yeah, mini restaurant.
So I guess we're not factoring in the number of pump spaces. There could be 12 vehicles at a pump, right? So we got 12 plus, you said 33. Is it, I think there's 30 shown.
30 shown.
So theoretically,
Pumps
there'd be-
count for 3 though, right?
Oh,
According to the code, there are 12 vehicles that could be at the pumps at any given time. But I think the code reads,
Yeah.
get credit for like 3 of them. Is that right?
That I did not calculate it. And you're required 1 space per 2 gas pumps. So I don't know if it considers the parking at the gas pumps as a parking spot in and of itself.
I read it that way too, that if you got 12 spots, you
Yeah.
need 4 parking spaces
That's how I read it.
set aside. Anyway, my opinion, it was a lot of spaces, and I'm a green space guy, so I'm looking to push things lower, but I appreciate your opinion that you want more for the value of having people sitting under canopies eating ice cream. That's a legitimate reason, I suppose, but seems like a lot of.
I think a lot depends too, just the time of the year, right? Summertime, ice cream business is up, right? So I've been there before in the summertime where it's difficult to find a spot, but if you go now, probably not. Also, if school's out, maybe more kids are going there in the summer, or maybe after school, more, because they'll be going there for something quick to eat or something like that. So I don't know the right answer. I value Jason's opinion. I certainly value yours because you're the one building and know that you have the experience on what your customers do. So
Yeah, typically we have, first, I agree with everything that's been said on all sides. Typically we have developers that are requesting to put in less parking. I mean, it's like more of an expense. So this is a little bit contrary to that. I mean, a good example that I always point to that is like such an excessive amount of parking is Sherwin-Williams. It's like, there's only like 3 people shopping at any given time, even in peak periods, and they've got like 25 parking spots or something. So it's like, we got way wrong there. And the developer was fine with it, but perhaps down the line that can be redeveloped, or they can add a subsequent building, whatever, who knows? I want to get it right here. The one thing I would say is different between the existing layout and the new layout is the parking on the existing layout is terrible. I mean, and what I mean is there's like parking spots they like hodgepodged in, up near Route 3 and back in like the vacuums, and it's never been full, but it feels full. And that's really the opposite of what you want. You just end up with a lot more stormwater runoff and pavement and less green space and all the things. What I would say on the current design, and what feels good to me, is it's got a pretty ergonomic flow. I mean, it feels like you guys took a lot of time to make sure that the flow of people actually matches where people are going into the building and where they're parking, and they're not competing with traffic coming off of, Granville Street or Commerce Drive. It's like you're bringing them as close to the building as you possibly can, with the exception of the parking on Route 3. it felt like the right number to me. And I guess to answer Mr. Stodderman's question with, I would just add on to what Alex has said, that our one size fits all formula when it comes to zoning code has never felt right to me. Because a lot of it is just based on square footage, and it's not as prescriptive as like sub-utilization codes. So like it's like commercial or industrial or residential. It's like those, if you only use like a multiplier based on the square footage based on whatever size the building is, it doesn't take into account whether you're a bank or a fast food restaurant or a bar or a clothing shop or, you know, a for sale bookstore. I mean, all those kind of fit into one classification. So I do like the open dialogue with the developer. Thank you for coming. I didn't realize we had the director of real estate for UDF. I feel like we should have rolled out the red carpet. My goodness gracious.
There he goes. They let me out every
No,
once
thank
in a
you for
while.
coming. Any other questions on the parking? Does it feel right? Feel wrong? Do we want to recommend anything different?
I understand exactly. I like green space, but I also, you know, you're in business to have people in traffic and as many people in that store and out that store as possible. So if that's the right number based on your experience, and I can't contradict that because I don't have that expertise.
Yeah, and it's a challenge. There are older sites like the one that's up there, you know, it has limited ability inside that building today. Because a lot of that footprint is car wash in the back. And so, you know, with the new building, and it's a large building, lots of area, a lot of products. So it can house a lot of people all at once. And we probably have anywhere from like 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 employees, I think. It's kind of our typical, sometimes we'd like more if we can get them. But yeah, in order to serve people and get them through, right? I mean, we've got the automated menus and all that stuff now at the new stores. So
Nice.
Okay, well, I approach this from the perspective that you might want fewer. Now that I know from your own mouth that you would prefer more and I want less, so maybe we've already met in the middle and just didn't know.
You know, you're me.
I'll let it lie. I think 30 or 33 is probably the right number.
thank you.
Let's hit on the trash dumpster real quick. So trash dumpster, now that I've seen it, especially with the screening exhibit, feeling much better about that. I know that was one of the issues that I had raised, you know, trash dumpster right on Route 3. One where another example nearby where I think they've done it right. Taco Bell's trash dumpster, you may not know, is right on Route 3. It's elevated and you may not even know. I mean, just based on the way they've screened it and it kind of fits in with the building, kind of got a similar feel on this particular site that, you know, it didn't feel like a trash dumpster on Route 3. And I think as long as you have like the tree selection that you put out there, the emerald green arborvitaes and et cetera, it's going to blend right in. Any questions or comments on the trash enclosure? All right, let's hit with can we hit on lighting? Because I think it ties into the access. That right in, right out access. I don't know if you saw, there's a actual right of way power pole light that shines out onto Granville Street. It looks like you would be removing that. And I didn't see it replaced anywhere. Can we maybe start with that minute detail?
Yeah, and I think this was caught with the engineer. We're gonna have to relocate it for you guys. They'll pay to relocate it. We'll just have to work it out with you guys on where exactly it gets put. But there was one, there was an issue with that.
Okay, and this is the
And
one.
we were trying to get a hold of the city engineer. I know our engineer wasn't getting calls back to discuss that. But I don't know if he's actually talked to him that was the last discussion I had about a week and a half ago. So I don't know if they finally have a conversation because he didn't let me know whether you guys they did or not.
It's all good. So the light pole would be kind of where the right out would be.
Yeah.
Can't see it actually. It faces the road. Those are all internal lights. So
Correct.
Alyssa, do you see the right out there? Go up a little. Yeah, it'd be a little bit to the left. Right about there. That's where the existing one is. The reason I know it so well is because it got ran over this past year and was out for many months and just got reinstalled. It's the only one that's like a brand new light pole with a brand new fixture.
It's actually called out on page C3 that was sent to you guys
Oh, yeah.
to be relocated.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for catching that detail. Okay, so maybe we can just go right into access. So first of all, the right in, right out doesn't feel as bad as I thought it was going to feel. Can you just give me an idea? When I saw the overlay, thank you for providing that. It looks like all three access points get quite a bit bigger. When I say quite a bit, like a 30% bigger each one. Does that sound about right?
It possibly is. I mean, typically we would try and do around 35 feet. It makes it the problem with the smaller entrances is the semis actually getting through a 24-foot wide curtain. You're making a turn in there. That is the issue. And that's why
Sure.
we would ask for them to be wider.
Okay. The semi, I didn't see the exhibit for the semis, but the right in, right out, is the semi coming in through the out portion? Or are you saying they're wrapping around? Can you just use your finger and show us on here the semi alignment?
So the semi would come and this will be mountable.
Okay,
So they'll be able to go over top, but they won't go in
okay,
completely. I mean, they'll curve around this way.
okay,
And you can actually see, Alex, in the exhibit we sent to Alex, it actually has the truck path.
Okay.
So it'll actually show the lines of where the path the truck will go.
Okay.
When it enters in there.
okay. It still feels really close to the intersection. I mean, it may even be closer to into the intersection.
I think that's just a little bit due to the radiuses to make it easier for trucks to turn because you can go around a 35-foot radius.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it feels wider. I mean, it is a little wider than where it would be today. It definitely is on the, I guess that would be the kind of the southwest portion, the out portion.
Mhm.
It does definitely come farther down, but that's to make it trucks be able to turn
Sure.
out of there and not be running over the curb because every time you try and make it tight, they're just gonna run over, you're gonna be breaking curves and if
Right,
you put signs there, they're gonna run them over.
right. Yeah, like,
That is the only
Right.
existing.
I get a little bit, there's a couple things that I'm just a little bit concerned about, but before I even say that, I'll preface all this with, I saw Alex's comment that we have the ability to approve pending engineer's approval, and I can live with that. I'll start there. There's just two things. When people are coming off of Route 3, so northbound Route 3, eastbound Granville Street, right in, and with the crosswalk right there, that just, I don't know how to say it, other than it makes me think like somebody could be, pulling a pretty hard right, and I want to make sure we get the safety aspect right. The logistics side of things still offset from the Ace Hardware. And I really don't know what we do about that. If you can't get a semi in there, like this, you can't airdrop fuel in.
Yeah,
Right?
you just won't be able to they won't be able to make a turn, that's the issue. If we try to align with Ace.
Commission, I would say this, I think I'm comfortable with what's being proposed pending that Carla Odebrowski is going to give this a very thorough overview and make sure that our safety ingress, egress concerns are voiced and that she's going to work with the developer to make sure we get it right.
I was just gonna add, so I did talk to Carlos, so that's the city engineer, a little bit more about this today. I mean, she did indicate to me that she didn't think that it would require a traffic impact study because it doesn't generate additional trips. I mean, there'll probably be some additional trips, but not enough to kind of trigger a next traffic impact study. But she did then point to traffic access issues and certainly did talk about this intersection and whether, the alignment is still too close to the intersection. So I know that's on her radar. The other thing is, and I appreciate you clarifying, she did think that the pork chop, I guess, is going to be mountable. So that's the portion that gives you a little bit more ability to get in. I think she is looking to maybe get a little bit of I think she called it a drop lane or something, not the full lane because you couldn't do that, but just some sort of way to kind of ease the angle at which you come around. So I know it's all on her radar. These are the types of things she'll talk to the UDF engineer about and, try to do everything that you've described, make it as safe as it possibly can be, as functional as it needs to be. And, hopefully we'll be able to get to a comfortable position before we head back to the council to, do the whatever. Actually, although this is not rezoning, is it? This is just site plan. So yeah, this won't go to council.
No,
It does. It does. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we've got a little bit of time to clean that up before council action.
So we did have a discussion about a possible drop right, but being such a short distance, we
Yeah.
didn't know that, we didn't feel that it would work, at least in our conversations. It was something Tim and I discussed about possibly, if we needed to do that, they would be willing to install a drop right
Okay,
there if we have to, but I mean, there's just not a lot of room.
right.
But it is an option.
This is something, in case we don't talk again before this, if this passes with the contingencies, in case we don't talk, what is the valuation increase on this? I can tell you why I'm asking, because I'm also on council, so I just want to make sure, I mean,
I don't know what it currently is.
We can tell you what a new store roughly costs.
Yeah, I mean, you're really looking at, buildings about 2.5 million.
Yep.
The whole gas operations, personal property along with all the equipment in the store, so about 2.5. There's no additional land, site improvements are probably around one, maybe 1.5, 1.25 here maybe. So
like 2.5.
Probably, there'll be definitely employment costs, there'll be some additional employees for a store like this. I mean, they're mainly part-time, but they're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20-25 needed to operate one of those big stores with all the different offerings.
If all goes according to plan, when are you anticipating, shutting down, breaking ground, all this stuff?
This spring, I think it's March. Roughly,
Yeah.
I think somewhere around March.
How long is it shut down for?
Till December, I think, so it's about 9 months. 9 months.
So there's second.
It says just so you know, the reporting is.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's roughly about 10 months.
Okay.
We wish it would work, but.
Of course.
I'm just gonna ask this question, and I know this is an engineering thing, I'm asking a dumb question, but the right in, right out, what's the problem with moving it further, like say further? I guess would be
East.
east, yeah, down the line.
So the issue is gonna be the truck turn with the dispensers. It won't be able to make the turn to get to the tanks
Mhm.
in order to be able to drop.
So it couldn't flow, I'm, again, dumb question, but it couldn't flow in and then down and around the backside of the building and then come up around the right hand side, there's just not enough room to make
Because
those
they have
turns.
to drop off the passenger side. So now I have to
Okay.
have a truck that loops, basically try and make 2 U-turns in that lot.
Okay, gotcha.
In order to be able to drop the fuel, because they have to drop off the passenger side of the tank.
You just can't run the hose over top of the truck. Just kidding. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you.
I actually have a question for staff. Once this is done, what I'm looking at is, are we going to have a turn lane on Commerce Street to help with probably the additional traffic that are gonna wanna turn left?
I don't know. I'll certainly add that to the list of things for Carla to look at. But again, I don't think we anticipated that it generates a significant increase in or trip traffic. So I
I'm not saying
Sure.
trip traffic, but right now, a lot of people are turning left without the pork chop.
Mhm.
Onto Granville to go
yeah, so you're
west.
saying now they're gonna exit on the Commerce Drive, they're
Right.
gonna go out to the intersection and turn left there. Does that create? Okay. Yeah, I'll ask Carla to look into that too.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do have a question, maybe for staff, as far as the setbacks. I don't know if you were hitting on this one, Alex.
Yeah.
They're getting closer to Route 3 on this, and just looking at satellite view, all of the other businesses are set back probably 30 feet, and it looks like they're going in around 16 feet from Route 3. Is there an intentional reason why we have that larger setback for future development of Route 3?
Are you talking about the grassy area?
Talking about,
Existing?
yeah, so Ace Hardware, the car wash, all of them going down Route 3 are pretty much in alignment with each other the whole way up Route 3, and then this one will be closer to Route 3 than any of the other ones.
When I was measuring setbacks, it didn't stand out, so it checked the box for me in that regard. I can do more research in it and send you over if I see anything. But it wasn't one that stood out to me. So it hits as far as building setback goes and pavement setback goes. I didn't have any concern with it enough to address it in the staff report.
Okay.
But I'll get a further answer to your question and verify.
Yeah, they'll be probably at least 12 feet closer to Route 3 than everyone else. And they currently have their little parking spot over there that gets pretty close to Route 3. But outside of that,
You're talking
my thoughts
diagonal.
is there, yeah, so my concerns would be, I don't know if that was intentional when we talk about planning for all the parcels around them. And to make sure that we are good there. And then my second question is, I see you're removing 14 trees and you're adding 3 or 13. Is it possible to replace what you take out?
We did the plan to meet zoning code. There's a lot of plants and the whole site has plants all around it. Screened all the parking as required by code.
There was a, I don't know which diagram it is, but it has the X's on it. When you count the X's, there's 14, and I see you're putting 13 new ones in. It's the third page in on the big whatever size sheet this is.
Well, there's like, who said wildlife and stuff. I mean, we have either some wildlife as well, so
Yeah.
there are additional trees besides the larger trees.
On the perimeter, you have 9. And then you have some smaller ones. 4 more smaller ones, it looks like.
Plus there's a magnolia. So there are 14 trees going in.
This one right here.
Yeah. There actually are 14 going back in.
There are 14 going back in.
I think they're in the, like, near the parking stalls.
Yeah.
It's like, looks like a circle, smaller circles. Not the small circles, but. And I'm on this page.
Yep, I'll get to it. The reason why I say that, it says down at the very bottom in the box, it says trees provided 13. I was going off of that and just counting the trees.
There's 13, if I look back at that.
I'm an advocate for keeping the same amount of trees that we have.
I mean, the biggest concern over trying to add any larger trees in there is gonna be their space to grow. I mean, we can't, if you look at the landscape plan. Not a whole lot of space to add additional.
On Granville Street, there's space, there's 5 trees along Granville right now, and they're larger trees. You got 2 replacing them.
They're also, I'm not counting the
You're right.
arborvitae,
Yeah, they're not.
green things, they have 7 of those.
Sure.
Yeah, they didn't have the arborvitae as trees either.
And I really don't count arborvitae's as trees, but as much as a shrub, but
tall, that's why I was.
Any feedback, staff? Any comments on this?
They hit per code. It is up to what it is. So
Can you generalize the code? What requirement are they trying to hit?
So they're replacing what they are taking down per code. I did count arborvitaes in terms of trees, and then with the landscaping and the improved landscaping along each of the streets, as far as screening requirements are concerned, they hit that, and they're blocking all the parking spaces with the screening along the whole border.
Alice, can I ask a question about the screening? So there's two criteria for screening. One, when something's adjacent to residential, and a second when it's adjacent to just a public street. Do you know if you considered this being adjacent to residential since there's an apartment complex across three, or is it the second criteria? Because there's quite a difference in what's required.
So when it comes to residential, it is in terms of the dumpster. So that was the screening, like if you're guarding, I believe that's what you're referring to. But per our last conversation, I think it was it last month we did the Bell stores. Adjacent only counts if it's directly next to it, if they share a property line. So it being across State Route 3, that wouldn't make it not adjacent.
Not adjacent. So
Yeah.
it's the second. Okay. So the section I was looking at, just to clarify, is, I'm not going to give you the number, but it says screening. In all commercial and industrial areas, any off-street parking area shall be effectively screened on each side which adjoins or faces any residential district, institutional premises, or any off-street parking area which is adjacent to or visible from a public street. So section A refers to adjacent to residential. Section B is for adjacent to a public street. And it says shall be provided with shrubs, berms, or walls having a minimum height of 3 feet. I'm just going to stop there. Do we achieve 3 feet height for all of this landscaping? I was looking at some
Well,
of
it's
it.
not, it says berms as well, and you would have to go to. No, we provide it.
I didn't see an elevation view of the landscaping. Maybe I missed it.
No, but there is a grading plan.
Okay. So the total elevation of the berm plus the vegetation will be 3
Correct.
feet. Okay.
Correct.
Satisfied.
So maybe, Mayor, to your point and to Mr. Long's point, what, if you will, would you at least commit to, let's look at the tree spacing
Exactly.
along Granville and just,
We could possibly add them here, I don't know.
yeah, but you'll make a commitment to, we'll look at the spacing and see if there's often room for another one.
I
Some-
think it's possible.
Okay, so he's,
One way for this long, yeah, we just space it differently, I think we can do it here. We do it here, we're gonna really start pushing stuff together.
all right, so you hear Mr. Long is,
Be there, that's not an issue, they will. Yeah.
yeah, so that's to the
One of them two there.
car wash side.
Southwest side.
I was hoping for, I thought that the southern, I don't know, yeah, that's the southern side.
Yeah.
Could use at least another tree so we can stay at the same amount that we're taking out that we're putting in.
Could we add to your list, when we have our discussion on the code, we talked about the parking. Could we also add what we decide as a tree so that we're all consistent?
I don't necessarily have concerns on the parking. The one thing I do want to call up, just to confirm on your calculations here, what is a gas pump? So I know that cars can pump on both sides. Is the pump considered 2 or 1?
I was considering, my consideration of it was one pump. There's 2 stalls on either side of one pump.
Mhm.
So it would be per that one pump require 2 spaces, or give me a second. Let me read the code again.
For every 2 gas pumps.
It says for every 2 gas. Yes.
Yeah.
For two pump, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would be counting up on the screen 1, 2. So there's 6 pumps. So 3 required spaces for the pumps.
I just wanted to clarify, like in my brain, I was thinking a pump you can have, I don't know if there's technically 2 pumps at a pump
It's
because,
actually a dispenser with 2 locations to pump.
okay, 1 pump.
They
All right.
call them a dispenser.
I'm gonna talk to your staff about that, because they say, hey, pump one or pump two, same.
Yeah, and I just.
Spencer one.
Never seen it. Hey, you wanna get into specifics?
Yes, yes.
I'm okay with the parking. I just didn't know for clarification on here, what was actually considered a pump. So
That was
sounds
my
like
consideration.
First 12 here.
It's something we will revisit in the zoning code
Okay.
update, I'm sure though.
We'll take the expert's opinion under advisement. If the pump width equals 2 dispensers. Good deal. All right. All right, we're ready to move forward.
I will go ahead and move for the approval of the United Dairy Farmers redevelopment contingent on engineering review. Second.
A second. We got a motion by Mrs. Miller and a second by Mrs. Crawford.
Can we include the tree?
Yeah, we're gonna have the staff and the developer look at the tree. I believe they're gonna attempt to add an additional tree based on the landscape plan that's been provided.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Any additional comments? Roll call.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford. Yes. Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
6 yeas, motion approved.
Thank you so much. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
See you back next year. Have a great day. Thank you. Safe travels. Our next item on the agenda is preliminary presentation, Jared Fodor, major commercial site plan. Requesting feedback on a preliminary site plan on 142 East Granville Street, that includes the renovation and addition to an existing building. Hello, Mr. Fodor, how are you?
Good, thank you.
We got some exhibits in here. If you want to walk us through just generally what you're requesting.
Yes, we already did the rezoning for this parcel. Now we want to move on to the next step to get the site plan approved. There's an existing building, that's not large enough for what we want to use it for, so we need to do an addition and then, remodel the existing building. So I got that shown on the site plan with, parking drawn and then, a floor plan and some elevations. And just seeking your guys' feedback or questions, concerns before we move forward with the actual site plan application.
Any comments or questions?
What's the fence made out of?
That is actually, if you see on the drawing there, that's where the trail is going to go.
Yes.
And the fence will actually be put in by Parks Department. That was part of the easement requirement. It's two things, because we don't want people in our parking lot accessing the trail. And likewise, we don't want people on the trail having easy access to, graffiti the building, since it's
Sure.
6 feet. So as far as what the fence would be, I don't know at this point. It would probably be a wood fence.
I can't recall. It's been many years since we approved that. Like 2018 maybe is when we, I think, approved that easement agreement. I guess the gist of it is it's not in scope for this particular approval.
Yeah, I just put it there to show what it would eventually be with the trail going in.
Your family operates the dance studio or is aspiring to?
My wife, yes.
Excellent. What role do you play in this?
We'll call it businessman.
Okay. That's great. Good to go. Any questions, comments?
One
Just looking for
more.
feedback.
The backside of this faces the main road, correct? My only thought was the no landscaping or anything on the backside of that building with how visible it is to the road.
It's part right here.
That's the side.
That would be the 37 Granville Street. Maybe the elevation wrong.
Yeah, so the west elevation with the two doors on it.
Yes. Yes, that's the backside which faces would be 37, but 37 is on the way down the various streets.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the building that stands there now,
Yeah.
which is very visible from the road as well. So my only concern there would be that there's no landscaping or much of anything on the back of that building. The rest of it looks great as far as aesthetics on the building, and the side I'm not worried about because that you're gonna have a fence along that.
Are you taking the existing logos down, the Sure Sign logos?
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe if I could, just to be clear, so this is the existing building remodeled and then an addition to it. That's the,
Part of the building,
Right.
that part would be the addition.
yeah. Okay. But all finished out in one sort of finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I proposed to, initially when I was talking to Alex, I was talking, metal siding. He said that wouldn't, meet zoning, so I proposed the cement board back. For finishes, and then.
It's basically like a hardy plank or something, right?
What's that?
It's like a hardy plank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any zoning that gets around the aesthetics on the outside that faces the?
It'll have to be screened per code, but that comes back to the same conversation we just had. Adjacent to residential comes into play, and with 37 being there, that kind of bridges the gap against residential, because they do have residential on the side, but they have the easement and the trail going through there. And on the opposite side, they have commercial for the gas station and the renovated car wash. So it'll come down to what exactly it looks like, but I don't think it'll be much of a requirement per the residential code. What are you looking for exactly? Are you just what the requirement is?
I want to say in the past, like when we talk about the developments over here on Kroger, and there was concerns around the backsides of those buildings because they're facing Route 3. Is that because that's a planned development and this is not a planned development?
The backside
Of like Chase Bank, Taco Bell, the paint store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the issue. I'm going to say four-sided design. I'm not sure if that is exactly it, but yeah, the design of the building has to be of a certain quality
If it faces
if it faces the
Okay.
street. Yeah, that's what you're getting.
I thought you were talking about landscaping. You're talking about the materials on the building itself.
Something, right?
Okay.
So I want to say that those conversations got into a mixture of either architecture or landscaping to help address that.
Yeah, they will have to hit a certain architectural guide, which is what I propose or what I talked to the applicant on the phone about already, which is why he made this change. And then depending on the landscaping will just depend on where it's facing and what it looks like. I can dive further into it once it's fully approved, and we can go over it
Okay,
at that point in time, but we'll be able to review it and make sure it hits our code.
okay.
I did show where the existing streets are. Along with that on the backside, and possibly where they're stopped, they might be a little shorter tree there.
Are those on your property or the right of way?
Those would probably be. Well, they would be within the 50-foot setback. So would that put them in the right of way?
Yeah, I don't mean to convolute this. I'm just thinking about in Strandville Street widening, are those trees
Yeah.
gonna be removed? That's kind of what I'm getting at.
That was my biggest concern of what's
Yeah.
going to be going on if the lighting there. I was gonna
Yeah.
affect this, but
Here would be my recommendation, and I think to appease this whole conversation. First of all, really, I like the look of the building. I like the use. I like all the stuff. I probably just make the approval go a lot easier next time if you just show a couple trees up against the building. That's my recommendation. That sound all right?
this was. Like here.
Yeah, I think at a minimum, yeah, probably. Yeah, because right now, aesthetically, no offense, it looks like a big white building. It may be a big white building now, but when there's construction and we have a chance to review it, what I hear Mr. Long saying is it's facing a road that west elevation, virtually all sides with the exception of south, have some sort of landscaping. And
It is
for a few hundred, less than $1,000, you're gonna be able to make it look really nice. Is that fair?
Very fair, or maybe.
That sound right? If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I'm just, that's my recommendation. And hopefully we'll see you back in January. Does that sound like a plan? Okay, sounds good. All right, this has been great.
I do got another question.
Of course.
About the pavement, there is existing concrete. And on the site plan, maybe.
Jump to site plan. Where the parking stalls are, is that what you're talking about? Okay, we'll pull that up. It's page 18. Okay.
This is existing concrete, this is existing concrete. And then those pavement.
Yeah. Do we have a code requirement or something on that?
There is, I actually just brought it up to Vic myself. There is a specific code requiring with development that it has to be on paved parking. I'm going to talk to Vic to kind of get the legal interpretation of what it is, but it more or less is just that parking lots have to be paved. With the way that there's two paved areas situated on the outer sides of gravel. I don't know if that gravel can count or if we have to push the parking all into a concrete or if it all has to be paved per our code. So we're still looking into get exactly what that phrasing means and what it would mean for this site. But just it's a weird mix of paved versus gravel on it now, but we want to make sure that we don't require anything that isn't specifically targeted in the code.
Okay. All right. So more to come. You'll provide feedback to the applicant before they come back next.
That is right. Yep.
Okay, sounds good. All right, any other questions, comments? Awesome, thank you so much for coming in. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you next month. All right, team, we're getting through this. Get back to my agenda. Okay, next item on the agenda, out of the 35 or 40 people that we have here tonight, is there anybody that wishes to speak with the Planning and Zoning Commission? All right, good deal. I'll make a motion to approve the November 24th, 2025 minutes.
Second?
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call?
Mayor St. John,
Yes?
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller. Yes. Mrs. Crawford. Yes. Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
6 yeas, motion approved.
Okay, we are on to the zoning report.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So we had 6 total zoning certificates, all for new builds, all for Pulte this month. 12 occupancy permits, which were also all Pulte. Relatively slow December, but that's usually how it goes. And again, one developer doing single family residential and new builds in the city right now, currently working. So to be expected, it puts us on 124 new builds for the year and totaling our unit development for the year being 271. We do have quite a few developments, which we'll probably be seeing start development going into next year. You can see on the subdivision build out, Eagle Creek Highlands, Kinder Crossing, and Woodland Lake are all at 0%. I'm expecting at least 2 of those to get moving next year early on. And then it maybe potentially all 3 by the year end out, depending on how quickly Eagle Creek Highlands goes. It's a Pulte project and they have a bunch of houses all over here. But we should start seeing numbers from there and coming up. And then, yeah, again, total units developed this year as of Thursday is 271, with 117 being single family and 154 being multifamily. With that, does anyone have any questions on zoning or planning?
Any questions?
I have a quick question about your totals. Do you keep track or do you ever receive data from Berkshire Township on their numbers? Since we are inside of Berkshire Township.
No, I have not. Is that something you would like me to look into?
It's interesting. It would be interesting, I think, to know the relative growth within the city versus the direct, because I see lots of multifamily and I know they're not part of you. But I'm just interested as they're going up, okay, are we 10% of the total? Are we 50% of the total? What is the total as they're going up? And I see your report, which is fantastic, but I wish I could see the outlying areas that are basically of concern to us when we're build. So
Yeah,
if you could solicit that information possibly from Berkshire Township, it would be nice to report it out once a quarter or something, just.
I was just gonna say, I think with the year-end totals coming in, I'm sure everybody's working on reports to have those numbers for the year end. And then I'll just try to make a way of communication where we can provide those numbers to them and they provide them to us if that's something they're willing to do. Worst case, even getting it quarterly or yearly, I don't think would be too hard to do.
One area where this is publicly available, it might not be in real time, but it will definitely be directionally correct, is Delaware County Regional Planning Commission tracks all of this information, including ours as well. So they get it from the building permit department, and you can go out there, like whatever the initials are, Delaware County Regional Planning Commission, DCPRC.
Yeah.
They have all of the information for every jurisdiction in all of Delaware County that you can pull. So a good idea to maybe go a layered level down in the minutia like we have here. To compare apples to apples. I know I get questions all the time about,
I'll send one
up
out.
all those apartments. I'm like, ugh.
There's a good map I use too, because we get a lot of questions, especially with the Berkshire around Tanger, all of the Mercedes, the apartments going up over there.
Sure.
There's a map that Delaware County has as a whole that tracks development too. So you can click a parcel, all the associated documents are tied to it, and you can look specifically at density for like a specific apartment or specifically for Berkshire. So I'll try to send that out at some point this week or after the holidays.
Sorry.
So you have that available too, and you can take a quick look if you want to, but that also has some numbers
Is
attached.
that the county auditor site?
Yes, so they have, if you know specifically where their GIS maps are, they have 8 or 9 good GIS maps. One of them's development, one of them's trails, one of them's housing. You can click through and get a good idea of what's going on. And again, I think it's updated monthly, so it might not be as accurate, but you'll be able to get a good idea of what's happening.
Good perspective on it.
But just, is that the auditor or is that the Regional Planning Commission?
I believe the development one is the auditor. I believe it's on the county site, but I'll send it out and I'll confirm it at that point.
All right. Can show you. Cool. Great. All right. I think it's Delaware County Regional Planning Commission. Sorry, while we're on record, I've got it right here.
It's okay.
I'm not trying to trump you on that one.
Correct.
Great report, great year. Thanks for all the data and the insights. We're getting better every year. I want to give big props to Alex and his partner in crime, Melissa. Good job. Thank you, team. You're doing great.
Thank you.
I do have a little bit of new business, and I just want to say thank you to Mr. Long. Thank you to Mrs. Crawford for your dedicated service to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Congratulations, you're being promoted, both of you, to City Council. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with you. And gonna get to work with you a whole heck of a lot more. Just to let you know, Mr. Keith Palma and Mrs. Shannon Stark are gonna be our new Planning and Zoning Commission members beginning in January, and both have been involved in various boards, including the BZA, charter commissions, things of that nature. So, next man and next woman up, as they say. Just like the Steelers, we don't like replace, we reload. Is that what they say?
Big a lot of things.
Yeah.
Try that, but some things they work.
Sunbury actually does it.
Yeah.
We don't rebuild, we reload.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's it.
Excellent. All right, any other new business from the commission?
Just Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Of course.
Yeah.
Anything from staff?
Anything?
Great. Everybody have a happy new year, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Oh.
Second by Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Next meeting, January 26th. Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford. Yes. Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Soderman,
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
6 yeas, we are adjourned.